You step into the morning, but it feels like dusk. The light is wrong, not gone, but ghostly. Thin as silk, gray as grief. You hold out your hand, searching for a shadow, but none appears. Overhead, the sun is a faded disk, like a coin rubbed nearly smooth. Its warmth forgotten. The air smells of something old. Not smoke, exactly, but dust, ancient, volcanic, as if the earth itself has exhaled. The villagers have stopped calling it fog. Fog lifts, this does not. They speak of omens now. Your feet press into cold earth still wet from a night that never warmed. Crops should be sprouting in this season, but the fields are pale with frost. You pass the barley patch and kneel, touching a leaf. It crumbles at your touch, not dry but frozen. In summer, no birds sing, not one. A child calls out somewhere, asking if today is still today. You do not know how to answer. You only know the year, and the year is 536. How many days without a sun before faith begins to rot? The grapes have soured on the vine. You remember last harvest, sweet, generous, the air thick with fermenting skins and laughter. This year, the wine tastes wrong, acrid. The elders say it is like drinking the blood of a sick goat, but they drink anyway. What else is there to forget hunger? In the market, the stalls grow sparse. Apples are hard as stones. A woman offers you a bowl of something, bitter roots in cloudy broth. You thank her, though it tastes of river mud. Trade has slowed to a whisper. The caravans from Antioch have not come. Silk no longer shimmers on the backs of the wealthy. Even the coins feel duller in your hand. And still that sun, that pale hanging thing. The historian Procopius in far-off Constantinople writes, "The sun gave forth its light without brightness, exceedingly like the sun in eclipse." You've heard the monks read his letters in a trembling voice. The crowd in the chapel did not breathe. Are we being watched or forgotten? You think of the Emperor Justinian and wonder if even he sees it. The way the moon has turned to ash, the way the stars blink more slowly. Does he tremble too? Or does a palace wall protect against a dimming sky? The candle stub you carry was once longer, beeswax marked with a simple cross. You light it not for light, but memory. At midday, even candles seem embarrassed to glow. Cassiodorus, the Roman, once sent a letter describing this very hour, or one like it. He said the sun had turned bluish, that even at noon, no shadows from people were visible on the ground. That was 2 years ago now, or perhaps it was yesterday. Time moves strangely when the world has no morning. You walk past a shrine and see a lamb carved in wood, half buried in snow that should not exist. A boy kneels before it, lips moving, though his eyes are dry. The lamb reminds you of stories, of sacrifice, of mercy. The same stories now told in a whisper, not from reverence, but uncertainty. In the annals of Ulster, they will write simply, "A failure of bread in the year 536. But how do you record the taste of fear? You remember the monastery bell once rang to mark the hours. Now it tolls only for death. And as the bells toll above, just know, stories like this don't rest easy. If you wish to follow their echoes, leave your mark, like, subscribe, return. The sky breaks open that night. Not with thunder, but silence. Snow falls, not white, but gray, clinging to rooftops like ash. It melts with a hiss against the candle stub in your hand. You do not sleep. Most don't. The cold enters the bones. In a village to the north, they say whole families have vanished. Not into death, but into the woods, seeking warmth or perhaps just escape. They're in the abandoned fields of Scandinavia. They leave no graves, only silence, a new kind of cemetery. And still, the monks say it is a sign, one perhaps, of wrath, of prophecy, of the end. But whose? Michael the Syrian will write, centuries from now, of a sign in the sun, the like of which had never been seen, a darkness lasting for 1.5 years. He will say the wine turned to vinegar, that fruits did not ripen, that the moon held no splendor. He will not be wrong. You raise the candle to the window and ask the darkness a question you dare not speak aloud. How many more winters must be endured before spring remembers us? The candle flickers, but does not answer. And outside, the ash continues to fall. You wake to a silence so thick it feels alive. The candle stub is nearly gone, its wax pooled in a hardened ripple on the floor, a frozen echo of what little light remains. You do not rise immediately. Instead, you listen. No carts roll down the lanes. No hens call in the yard. Even the dogs, once alert to passing steps, lie mute beneath eaves, ribs rising too slowly. Hunger teaches quiet. You dress in layers not for cold, though cold it is, but for concealment. People have begun to look at one another with more calculation. Eyes linger not on greetings, but on bags, bundles, pockets. Bread is a currency. Hope is traded for firewood. The silence is not stillness. It is pressure, and beneath it, a slow unraveling. You step into the village square. The statue at its center, once a figure of some Roman deity, has lost its face, not to time but to chisels. A boy with hollow cheeks stands near it, holding a coin with Justinian's profile worn to nothing. He clutches it like a relic or a weapon. How much can be taken before a people forget who they were? In Constantinople, they say, Justinian continues his campaigns, that he sends troops west to reclaim lands for empire. But what good are borders when the sky itself is broken? Procopius writes of plague and war, but even his careful letters crack with confusion. The old rhythms, planting, harvest, trade, have faltered. And still, he writes. You imagine him hunched over parchment by pale lamplight, recording the eclipse of the world. You pass a trader from Alexandria. He sells salt. Not grain, not cloth, just salt. His skin is flaking, his fingers blistered. He speaks of a ship frozen in a harbor for weeks, of sailors who burn their own ropes for warmth on them. And yet he smiles as he offers you a taste. You decline. There is no appetite now for the past's luxuries. Is this how civilizations fade? Not in flame, but in the quiet substitution of what matters. The church door groans as you push it open. Inside, the pews are occupied not by worshippers, but by the ill, pale cheeks, cracked lips. The scent is heavy, mildew, stale linen, and beneath it all, rot. Not of flesh, of certainty. A monk kneels at the altar. His robes are patched, his hands shake. He lights a new candle, fresh, tall, and places beside it a relic, a piece of the true cross, or so he claims. But no one looks at it. They look only at the flame. Even relics have lost their warmth. Cassiodorus wrote that the fruits did not ripen, and wine had the taste of sour grapes. You wonder if he tasted the despair too. A woman beside you sobs softly, not for grief, but for memory. She's forgotten the feel of sun on skin. You reach for your own candle stub. It's almost gone. You hesitate, then place it near the altar. It flickers, once, then dies. That night, something changes. You follow a procession of villagers, cloaked, silent, toward the hills. No torches, no songs, just the slow, crunch of frost beneath worn boots. At the crest, they stop. A stone circle waits there. Ancient, older than empire, older than belief. The priest raises a hand, not in blessing, in offering. One by one, each places something at the center. A trinket, a piece of bread, a necklace, a child's doll. Not for gods, for remembrance. You place nothing, but you kneel, and you ask silently, will the sun ever forgive us? The fire is still smoldering when you reach what was once the village. Walls blackened. Thatched roofs collapsed inward like starved lungs. No bodies, they are ash now, or carried by others. Only silence, thicker than before. You step across a scorched threshold. There are no names here anymore, only memories carved into what remains. A pot, unbroken, filled with frozen broth. A child's wooden spoon. A bone-handled comb, melted slightly at the teeth. You reach down and pick up the comb. It's warm, though nothing else is. What survives when the owners do not? A wind howls from the north, dry and strange, carrying not just cold, but sand, grit from far lands, dust from China, perhaps. The monks said even there, snow fell in summer, that apples turned to stones and wheat refused to grow. This is not a famine of a single place. This is a forgetting of the world itself. Weeks pass. Then one morning, barely noticed, there's a shadow. You blink, look down. Your body casts a faint mark on the earth. You squint at the sky. The sun is still pale, but something has shifted. Its circle is less dim, its warmth not gone, but stirring. The bell rings that night. Once, then again. It is not a death knell. A child runs through the square laughing, not because of food, but because the moon is visible. Not full, not bright, but present. Could it be that the veil is lifting? In Constantinople, Procopius will write no poem for this day, only reports of weather. The annalists in Ireland will mention nothing more than the failure of bread has ended. No songs, no feasts, just the slow return of a forgotten rhythm. In time, they will speak of this year as myth, the year the sun vanished, the year of shadows, the year the sky wept ash. But you remember the candle stub and how it failed. You remember the fields, brittle and white. You remember a procession to a hill where nothing was asked but silence. The comb you carry now is smooth from your touch. You place it in a box with other relics. The coin of the faceless emperor, a page from a monastery letter, a single grape dried and shriveled, a fruit that never ripened, each one a testimony, each one a whisper, and in that box you leave a scrap of parchment. You write nothing upon it. Some things do not need to be told in words. They are known in silence, in frost, in the long nights when no shadows fell. The sun rises, not bright, but real, and for the first time in a long while, you close your eyes and feel it. Not warmth, not yet, but promise. And in the end, that was all anyone ever prayed for. A final echo lingers. What else have we forgotten in the dark that waits to be remembered?